I just bought the cheapest portable SSD drive you can buy on Amazon, and I did it for you. Hey, welcome back everyone. So, my channel allows me to do a lot of crazy things like I would never normally do. So what I did is I wanted to create a video and I said, let me go out and find the cheapest external SSD drive I can buy. What can I get for the money? What is the performance like? How much does it cost? All that kind of stuff. So what I wanted to do is, I bought this. Now this is something, again, I'm doing it for you guys. I'm doing it for you girls because whoever, normally would buy this is probably not the average consumer. I went on Amazon and I found, obviously you can buy flash drives. Everyone knows flash drives are very cheap. Maybe for 64 gigabytes, you might spend like for a good one, maybe $5 to $10 right now. This is actually a portable SSD drive, and this one is actually, it's going to be USB obviously, and it's supposedly it says light, thin, and high speed on the front. That's about all it says. And what this actually is, I'm going to go through it in a second, is it's the reason you'd buy something like this over a flash drive is for speed. So flash drives generally can maybe you're going to get 100 megabits per second or something like that as far as the reads and writes. Where on something like this, that's if you're lucky. I mean, a lot of times it's 20 maybe. But on something like this, you're going to get, this is advertised at 425 read and writes megabits per second. So if you look at this, I'm going to go ahead and test this. I'm going to test it on a Mac. So if you're a Mac user, this might be a good option. And the one reason I might want something like this is, if you're traveling and you want to just bring a small, tiny drive, and I'm going to show you the size of this in a second. But if you want a small, tiny drive, you want something that's, only has a smaller capacity. I'm going to get into that. But this is actually only 60 gigabytes. So keep that in mind. It's a smaller drive. And I think it's 60 or 64. I'll put up the information in a second. So why would you want this? Again, it comes down to speed. You can transfer files really quickly, put it in your pocket. Way better than a flash drive. Let's get into what it looks like, what you get for the money, and how much it does it actually cost. That's the key here. So stay tuned. Let's go. All right, so the drive is actually the VanSunny 60 gigabyte external SSD. You can see it here for $21.99, the cheapest I could find. It comes in some other sizes and flavors, but I think, just for the price, that's the one I chose. It does say 450 megabit per second on the reading and 400 on the writes. It also does have a USB cable for the connection. I think it's 5 gigabits per second, and it does work with Windows and Macs and everything else. I'll have a link to this in the description if you want to pick this up or if you want to check it out. So anyways, here's the box. And the box is very, very generic, as you can see. This is the front and now here's the back, and it doesn't even really say the name of the unit, but it does say 60 gigabytes, and it has these some little information about how fast it is and how light it is and stuff. But the drive is actually surprisingly made well. When I checked it out, when I picked it up the first time, it does have an all aluminum chassis, which is really nice, and it just feels really nice in the hand compared to some other ones. And it does have a real cable, obviously SSD. It's got its own kind of proprietary, you've seen these before, double cable on the front there that connects into the hard drive itself. But then on the other end of it is just a normal USB, I guess it's at least 2.0, 3.0 type cable you see here. So I believe it's 5 gigabits per second. In the hand though, this is, very, very small. You can see by the size of this in my hand right here, it's a very small SSD, very light, but it does have some heft to it because it's all, like I said, aluminum. It's got some good heft to it. So it doesn't feel really cheap. So, that's one thing I recommend. On the back of it, it does say portable SSD X1 60 gigabytes. So check it out. If you watch my channel, I review a lot of SSDs. Here's some of the smaller ones I have, and you can see the VanSunny's at the very end. So this is pretty small as I go through these. These are really small, like the ADATA one, I have a video on that. The VAVA is actually a hub, so it's not an SSD, but I threw it in there just for size comparison. But you can see how small it is, and even like the height of it is a lot smaller than these as well. So, check it out. Here's something how it looks next to my keys, just normal car keys. So it's very, very small. The actual dimensions, though, are about a little over 3 inches on the length, and then the height of it, I guess, is about 1.5 to 2 inches. 1.5 inches probably closer. All right, the last two things I wanted to show people, the size of it after we format it, and then do a speed test on it to see how fast it is. So if you go into Disk Utility and you click VanSunny 60 gig over here, I named it that. So you can see over here, it's actually registered as 64.02 gigabytes. I'm not sure why, but that's what it's registering for. And it only allowed me to format it as Mac OS Extended Journal, which is fine. But for some reason, that's what it was limiting it to. I couldn't do APFS, I'm sorry. So check that out. And then if you go to Blackmagic, here's the speed test application that I usually use. Just make sure that when you're doing this, you check the right target drive. Make sure you pick the VanSunny drive, which I'm doing here. I'm going to prove to you that I'm doing that, so I'm going to click on it. And after testing, it did get a little bit lower for some reason than what they said, but it still was way faster than a flash drive. So let's check this out. So it's about 242 roughly or so, or somewhere in that range on the write speeds, and about 428.3 on the reads. So that's a lot faster than a flash drive. Pretty good overall for a $20, external SSD drive. All right, again, so this channel is actually really for all my subscribers and people that actually want to find out stuff like this. I mean, no one would normally usually buy this. The quality of it, though, it does have good ratings on Amazon, and you can check out the link to that. But, would it be something that I would normally buy? I'm not so sure, because you can buy for a few bucks more, you can probably get, 120, 240 gigabyte SSD external. But I wanted to go out there. I wanted to see how cheap can I go? How cheap can I get one? And I found this. And so far, it's not too bad for the price. It's definitely going to be better than a flash drive. I agree, and it's definitely going to give you better, throughput no matter what. So if you're doing video editing, you want to go to the coffee store, you want to slip something like this in your pocket, it's definitely a good buy, at just about $20. I mean, $20 now for an external SSD drive, $20 US. It's pretty crazy. You can't really beat it, so I can't complain too much. These are fun things to buy. I'm not buying super expensive stuff. Just want to, show people what's out there. Does it work? Is it even worth your $20 that you put into it? So anyways, if you guys can support my channel, I make, a couple of videos a week. I do everything from a lot of Apple stuff, a lot of PC stuff, and then some travel, which I'm kind of taking a break from. Please subscribe if you can help me out. Click the like button, stuff like that. Any case, I hope everyone can help me, and I'll make a couple more videos this week. Talk to you soon. Peace.